This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
You have a rich person's name. Like, you should be a billionaire with the name Winfield. Anyway, call me back, bro.
It is the 24th of October, 2023. My name's Corey Winfield, and from the North Studio, this is the 217 Recovery Podcast. Joining me in the North Studio, a couple different people. I have Mitch in here, Adam's in here, and Justin, you're on the mic. How are you today?
Fabulous.
How's your week going so far?
Fabulous.
Nice. How's your paycheck looking?
Poor.
I think you meant
fabulous.
There you go, Justin. It does look fabulous. So we have an event coming up this week. Are you excited about that?
Yes.
Now, has Adam or Mitch told you the surprise that's going to happen there?
No.
You are going to actually have to get up there and tell your recovery story.
Not happening.
Backwards.
We weren't telling them until that, so it was like fresh.
Well, you're not on a microphone, Mitch. It doesn't work that way. I know Mitch wants to chime in. And there is a microphone right by him. All I have to do is turn it on, and he just has to grab it. But that's too much because they're actually handling the mics for this.
It's behind Adam.
It's behind Adam, so he's reaching behind Adam. Let's do play-by-play. Oh, he hits the mirror. Or that's not a mirror. It's a window. I'm tired. I had 2 hours of sleep. So what you were saying?
Am I mudded?
Oh, yeah, but you don't have headphones.
Yeah. No, I was saying we weren't supposed to tell him about this, so it was fresh and new. So we just get up there and it, and it was going to be raw because how we like it.
Yeah. Raw.
Not happening.
Nah, that's not happening. But Adam is going to be up there with me, and it's going to be Lenny kicking things off, and then Kendra, and then Adam, then myself. And then we're going to have Mary go, and she is head of the Women's Treatment Center here in Traverse City. And then David is going to go, and he's the head of the Treatment Center for Men here in Traverse City. So it'll be a pretty good deal. It's Recovery Stories, Message of Hope, Part 1. And it's this Thursday at the Grand Traverse Event Center. Doors open at 5, start slinging sketty at like 5:30. And then we start the stories at 6, and then we go into the messages of hope and stuff. So
fabulous.
It'll be a good time. You looking forward to it?
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to your brethren, Adam, telling his recovery story? Because you didn't get to go with us. You were supposed to go, but then we had to fire somebody, and then
I had rides to do.
Yeah, then you had rides to do. But if you went with us, you would have been up there probably. Does that make you glad that you had rides?
God has his own plan for me. So I'm kind of glad I had rides.
You're touched by Jesus, Justin.
Yes.
You are touched. You're
very
touched.
much so.
Show me on this doll.
That's wrong.
We'll get into that in a different episode. Because there were some questions being thrown around in the studio last week, and we were like, But anyway, I figured I would let you guys interview me. And Mitch, I know you're starting a podcast with you and Adam, Redacted, and it's getting some legs to it.
A little bit, yeah.
It takes a minute to get things going, but once you get it dialed in, you'll be running with it. But I figured I would give you the pleasure and give you the opportunity to interview me about this event that we're having, and I could be like your first ever podcast interview. Kind of a big deal.
I'm very prepared.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
This is the shtick the whole time was to get me on the mic because he didn't want to do it. Is that how that works?
How do you think it would have went if Justin? All right, Justin, interview me.
It went poorly.
We can just give it a shot and then it'll teach me.
I think Justin needs a chance, and then we can have people vote on it.
Yeah.
All right, Justin.
I like that.
Interview me
today on.
Hello, sir. What's your name?
News.
My name's Corey, but that's not. We're on the podcast, dude. Like, come on, man. Like,
I don't know how to.
No, I don't want to buy a shirt.
Wow.
That was your next one.
All right, let's do this. So, what made you think of doing an event like this?
Actually, my wife was like, we got to do events. And actually, with the grant we had to do events. And this one was the first time we're going to do an event that we're not actually using grant money. So we were kind of thinking like, what could we put on our own? And what could we do that's fun? Because if you use grant money, sometimes there's stipulations like you can't use it to buy food, can't use this to buy this, use this to buy that, can't do this, can't do that. And we wanted to do our own thing kind of and kind of reach out and get in touch with the recovery community. But Marnie really wanted to put it on as like a fundraiser to see what we could do on our own as another means to raise money, I guess.
If somebody did want to donate, how do they go about doing that?
There's different ways. Like at the event, you can just come up to me and slide some cash in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? No, but you can write a check, do an envelope, stuff like that. You can also go to our website, 217recovery.com/support. It's either /support or /donate. It's one of those two.
Is this something that you just came up with, you and Marnie, or is it something that you've been kind of culminating over the years?
It's something we just kind of came up with.
Yeah.
Like, when do we want to do an event? Well, let's do one in October. Thought that was a cool month. And we had just wrapped up recovery month, so we didn't really want to do it then in September. So we figured October would be a good month. And then the name of it just, I don't know. I was talking with David G, actually, who's going to be one of the speakers there. And he was asking about, okay, well, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to talk about? And it's like, just, your story, but we don't want to, the whole details of the bad parts. He's like, oh, so just that hope part. You just want that hope part. And I was like, yeah. And so that's how kind of message of hope. But then it's like, well, recovery stories, because Adam and I and Kendra and Lenny went to the recovery stories training, and they told us how to like tell a story, but not our whole story, but just like take a little piece of our story and put that into like 3 to 5 minutes and tell that. So it's like recovery stories, message of hope.
Yeah, I wouldn't know how to do that because I didn't get to go to that training. But anyway, so
I think you were going to.
I was, and then things happened, and
Someone
people got
fired.
fired, and so.
I don't know if he got fired. He just didn't want to be here anymore. But that's
it's whatever.
Wish him well.
Back to the interview.
Yeah.
So when you started all of this was like 4.5, 5-ish years ago.
Yeah, I got out of treatment in 2019 of March of 2019, and then April, I think we did our first podcast, and by May, I already had our business going through the Michigan State website,
Like the nonprofit and all that. No,
we had it incorporated, and then there's different steps you have to do. First, you got to go down to the city hall and say, I'm starting a business. Here's your $10. And then you got to pay the state like $25. And then there's just things you have to do on the way to the nonprofit. It took me, I think, like 9 months to actually get the nonprofit paperwork done. It's a lot of paperwork. And to send it off to the IRS. And it was like $600, and I didn't have $600. So I needed to wait for my college money to come in.
Back when you were doing all of that and you were starting this, you're making a business and you had dreams of what you wanted it to be, did you ever foresee doing something like this? Was this on the hopes and dreams? Or what would your 4.5-year-old ago self think of yourself today?
So back when I was like 41, you mean? Jeez. Man. I don't know. Like, I was just trying to get the podcast off the ground, and I was trying to get the 501c3 thing done. And I was trying to learn how to live sober, in sober living home. So I knew I wanted to do something with it. And one thing it gave me was motivation. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And to learn new things and to figure those things out is what really kind of gave me drive and kept me going to stay sober. And then, once we started transporting people to and from treatment, that was just like a whole nother thing. And then opening a recovery community center, it's awesome. We get to see new people all the time. We get to help them start meetings. We see them, come in when they're struggling. We see them come in when they're having a great time, so it's a great thing. And what's next? Movies? I don't know.
Part 2.
Part 2, yeah, probably part 2 would be first. But that's another thing, though. I want to film this, and I'm gonna ask your guys' help doing this too. You know, because I have 3 or 4 cameras, maybe allegedly, and we're gonna film it and piece it together and see how it looks, and then maybe we can charge, hey, for a $2 donation, or you know, for a $1 million donation, we'll give you a T-shirt, and you can keep this movie.
It's a good value. Yeah.
We should shoot like behind the scenes stuff.
The director's cut.
Yeah.
With the editorial whatever.
Fabulous.
Yeah. You can do that.
Silent phone, bro. Yeah. So that's all I got for.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was much better than Justin. What's your name?
I don't know how to do an interview. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Your blogs are getting better, though.
Hospital.
Okay. Adam's going to the hospital. He's got to dodge cameras and everything now. Sorry, Adam. This is why people are like, you don't do video when you do a podcast? No.
It's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, imagine if we had 2 more cameras, one on you and one on Mitch.
Yeah, it'd be all over the place.
And I know they make them where I can put it in the corner and record all of us, but that's not what people want to see. And I don't want to put a table in a room and it looks like we're having dinner. I could do that, but I'd rather not. I'd rather just do the podcast. And
Dinner podcast.
there are people that do them and they do them well on video, but I'm a radio guy, so it's like, eh. But for this, we're doing a little video promo for promoting the event on Thursday, so I think that's why we're doing it. I know that's why we're doing it so early too.
It's been interesting starting my own or our own podcast, all the different ways people do it. Because there isn't one way. There is like the other sides of the table. There's the what I call the morning show approach, where there's a couple chairs and you kind of angled sit next to across from each other, and then talk to each other. Towards more like one camera or one, and then there's one over here, one over there, like that. For the video podcasts, one that interests me was almost like, I call it the news anchor. They do a podcast where you sit at like a desk,
Right?
And you're here with your mic, and the other person is sitting right next to you, and you're both pointing in the same direction, but you're having a conversation like you would be right across from each other, and that one's interesting. I don't know how easy. That'd be kind of difficult, I think.
I think if you were playing different clips and videos, it would be okay, but it would be awkward just to, like, if I was talking with Justin, or if I was talking with you and I wasn't looking at you and I was just looking over here. Yeah, Mitch, that's great. That would be awkward.
Yeah, that's kind of how we started our podcast, because of the space that we had to do it in and stuff, and it did get a little weird, and then people would be like, well, why can't we hear you anymore, Mitchell? It's because I'm trying to look over at this direction, and it was kind of difficult. But with help from a very good mentor from the podcast world, we've made leaps and bounds in that direction.
Yeah, and I wish I could help you guys more, but it'll come together, man. If you go back and listen to my early ones, they're bad. We had one microphone. We were passing it around between 3 people, man. Like,
the talking stick.
Yeah, and when it has that echo on it, I was like telling you about that, and the reason why I knew about that is because it happened to me many times, and even when I thought I had it dialed in, and
dude, that was a pain too, because we'd do it and we'd check it and it wouldn't be there, and then we'd take it and we'd run a podcast and there it is. Mm-hmm. What?
It's very frustrating.
The little monster hiding behind the monitor of the computer, and it just jumps out and goes, "Ha, gotcha."
But now I even have these little bitty mics, man, and we use these. Like Marnie and I will use them, and of course we don't do it while we're driving. But sometimes when we're driving, we'll put these on, and you clip them on, and I think there's like $20. Well, actually, these are free because I reviewed them, and some company from China was like, leave us a review, and I was like, okay. And then I was like, yeah, those aren't as good as the other ones. And then the other company who I said wasn't as good was like, hey, we got some new ones, here's some, and here's one for camera. And I was like, okay. We
used a couple of those
mics now
during that one production that we put together earlier in the year. our first professional production that we all did together.
I thought we had the other blue one, the clip-on ones.
Maybe. I thought these were clip-on ones.
Well, these are, but they're like little alligator clip-on ones.
Those are new since then.
These?
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
I've had these for a while.
You were holding out on us.
Well, no, because the other ones were better. But the other ones I was going to use for this, but I left them at the crib.
Gotcha.
So I left them on the desk at home. But yeah, so there's different things that you can do. But even these, though, as you're like driving down the road or something, or not driving down the road, but you can use those and they're great. They're just like little lapel mics. And there's one that actually comes with a cord that does Android, iPhone, and camera. So I would just buy that one.
Wow.
And it's not too bad. You know, it's not quality of a Shure mic or a Electro Voice RE20 or anything, but
It'll get it done.
Yeah, it'll do the trick. But, you know, I spent $100 on a microphone, sent it back because it sucked, and I bought those fine mics for $30, and they sounded just fine.
So they're going to be equipped with up on the 26th while they're doing their recovery stories, or some lapel mics, or they're going to have the good old fashioned, you know.
Well, I do have. That's what I should do. I should have Tyrone hold that. I have one of those like you see in movies where they're like a boom arm and stuff.
Yeah.
And I have a mic for it. It's in the drawer.
Dance with it when you do the song.
And it sounds pretty good because I had Adam sitting here one day and I was like, Adam, talk to me. And he did. And it sounded great.
Poor Tyrone.
Yeah, he's going to be like, man, shit. I ain't holding that. Thought you said we had chicken here.
Watermelon.
Damn, spaghetti.
Am I going to have to pick up a bucket on the way over?
Tyrone gets his own chicken.
Tyrone's
funny. Tyrone likes chicken, though. He makes some damn killer wings.
Does he?
Yeah. We should just have him make wings for, like, us. That'd be so rude. For a donation. Tyrone will make you some wings, too. Just kidding. But it'll be a good time, though, this Thursday. And if you want to come out, feel free. Anybody's welcome. It's a free event. Doors open at 5. Start serving dinner at 5:30. If you don't want to eat, that's cool, too. 6 o'clock is when we're going to kick off the thing. And it'll last an hour and a half or so.
Here's a good one. I mean, you mentioned a couple of them, but what made you choose the recovery stories people other than they went through the training on how to do it? Like, is there like a backstory, or like you knew them? I mean, I know you trust them, but what made you choose the people that you did?
Well, it's funny because Adam, Lenny, and Kendra and myself were all in treatment together. The very last time I went to treatment, all those people were in there. And so Kendra and Lenny, they work at a treatment center. Adam obviously works for 217 Recovery, but it's just one of those things where it's like, man, like we were in treatment together and we were all in the group when one of the guys, I believe it was Steven, who was leading the group, was like, hey, you know, like 2 of you out of this whole 25 are going to make it.
Yeah.
You know, and 8 of you are going to die, and they like do those things.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I was just like, wow. And I always was like, oh, not going to happen to me. And everything. Oh, 2 of you going to make it. Oh, not going to happen to me. You know, 8 of you going to die. Oh, well, not going to happen to me.
Yeah. And they're always like, yeah, that's what everybody says. And it still happens.
Yeah. And there have been quite a few people who have died that we were in treatment with. But, you know, we just got to keep moving forward with our lives and what we're doing. And those are the choices, man. Like jails, institutions, or death. That's it. And you got to figure it out, you know, to avoid those things. But we have, and it's kind of like a homecoming of sorts, you know. Like I love Kenny and Lindra. I love Kenny and Lindra. I love Lenny and Kendra, and I think that it'll be a fun time. You know, it's
names have been changed for
I got to protect them.
protection.
Yeah, I started putting too many clues in there. People can figure out who they are.
No, it's cool. I like it. I like the whole thing, you know, behind it, and I'm really looking forward to making the spaghetti. It's gonna be my favorite part.
It might be better than what you think. I know Marnie's real stressed out over it, and I just told her, like, if it sucks, we'll order pizza.
I got Little Caesars on speed dial, man.
Yeah, we should reach out to them anyway and be like, hey, how about you throw some pizzas?
That's on the recipe, actually.
Just in case.
For the spaghetti recipe. It's one of the last steps. You can call it Little Caesars.
I thought Kim was making our spaghetti.
So, well, things change.
She's going
man.
to do the sauce. Like they're gonna open sauce, put it in the thing, and then they want someone to stir some stuff into it. Like we're not crushing up tomatoes, doing home style stuff.
What?
She had like carrots and
No way.
it was good stuff, but it was
Carrot? Did you say carrots?
There were carrots in the vegan one, so yeah, it would have been good, but it would have been
smack about Kim because she doesn't listen to this podcast.
Fabulous.
Well, I mean, so she did make it, did try it. It was really good, but it was almost bigger than what we're doing.
Yeah,
we're bigger than it's kind of hard to explain. Like we had to do something that was more mass producible.
Yeah.
So hers was great, but we just didn't have the time to go and get all the ingredients and break it down and everything. Because she made it from scratch. It was delicious. It was amazing. She's a really good cook. And I'm not just saying that to fluff her up because she has made stuff. I'm like, Kim, this is gross. She appreciates. She told me she appreciates the feedback, but I also see the look in her eye, and I think she wants to hurt me sometimes. So.
That wouldn't surprise you.
But still, so that's that's the story behind the sauce.
Well, thanks for that. And.
Got your ass 2 times because you can't drive.
I can drive.
No, he can't. Ask him how to drive 6-speed.
Okay.
Let's
go there.
That's their podcast. You got to go and podcast on their podcast. Maybe you can interview them on their podcast.
Somebody didn't tell me that the reverse was in the wrong direction. All right, it was dark this morning.
Oh Jesus.
Good stuff. Good times at 217 Recovery.
Well, thanks for listening. And yes, this is a podcast about recovery, hope, and strength, but it's also about day-to-day life in recovery and what we're doing, what we got going on. But we do have the event going on, Recovery Stories, Message of Hope, Part 1, Grand Traverse Event Center. More details online at 217recovery.com. Love to see you there.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. Win a bunch of free shit from 217 Recovery. Go to the app or the website, 217recovery.com.